So we are seeing another attack on America's critical infrastructure. A major fire has broke out at an electrical grid substation, resulting in over 50,000 people having their power outage. Airports are shut down, trains are shut down, people are stuck in elevators, and this happened just as we had a state of emergency declared in the same exact town a few days ago over a ransomware attack. Okay, so the city of Oakland is now experiencing a major substation attack as well, and over 50,000 people have their power out. And just a few days ago, they declared a state of emergency following a ransomware attack. And I reported on this a few days ago. There's actually multiple cities. There's another city right outside Oakland, and all of their systems are offline due to a ransomware attack locking them out of their systems, and they've had to take them offline to protect themselves. So what are the odds that this same exact city in California now has a substation attack and a massive fire, resulting in airports shutting down, trains shutting down, everything shutting down? Electric cars can't be charged. All this stuff is happening right now in Oakland, California. And this is so important to cover because this is a pattern. We've seen this over and over. I've covered this numerous times over the past couple months, and it is now escalating. You can see here over Christmas, there were multiple people charged with attacking multiple substations in Tacoma, Washington, resulting in tens of thousands of people having their power go out. Okay, this is happening constantly. People are constantly attacking substations. We saw substations being shot at in North Carolina, resulting in over 40,000 people having their power outage. Also, another substation was attacked right outside of Las Vegas. Okay, this happened in early January. Somebody rammed their car through the gates of the substation, rammed their car into the generators at the substation, and lit their car on fire and caused massive damage, and just stood there and watched it. All right, so this is a theme that we are seeing. Substation after substation is being hit and attacked and burned down, and they're honestly completely vulnerable. Most substations you drive by are just sitting out in the open. A lot of them are in the middle of nowhere. There's not even any public protection or a sense of protection. But even this one in Washington, okay, this was in the heart of Tacoma, Washington on Christmas. So, I mean, how much more vulnerable can you get than you're sitting at your house on Christmas? You think, all right, it's going to be a good day, and you're in the middle of the city, all right? You're like, all right, they have this under control. They're not going to attack a substation in the middle of the city. And multiple substations were hit in the middle of Tacoma, Washington on Christmas Day, okay? And people, tens of thousands of people just had their power go out. If that's not vulnerability, I don't know what is. We can be hit at any time, any moment, not even Christmas Day. These criminals are taking the day off, all right? And what's actually happening are these cells being activated inside of America. And when the power goes out, okay, your banking doesn't work. People are trapped in elevators, okay? This is insane, but nothing works. Your banking doesn't work. You can't process cards at the store, okay? You need to have cash on you. You need to have other currencies that you can use in case of an emergency, all right? It's great to have gold coins, silver coins that you can trade with, all right? It's good to have investments, but also physical coins that you can trade with. Even the government has minted a ton of coins that you could use to trade with, all right, that are valuable. So it's one of these things. You need to have alternative currencies. They are preparing us for something big. Remember Klaus Schwab? I made a video a couple days ago now. He's warning of the Black Swan event. He's saying the Black Swan event is coming, and he was warning all the globalists, we need to be resilient. We need to be ready for this. He's saying, hey, we're going to implement the Black Swan. Just so you guys know, heads up, and you should be ready for this. Get prepared. Get your countries prepared for this. The countries that we want to come out on top of this, get them prepared right now, because we are going to implement the Black Swan soon. And most likely it's going to be a massive cyber attack, cyber event, some kind of major event that can reset all the systems, reset the internet, reset the banking system, reset a digital, uh, implement a digital currency. All right, I saw a ad for the Federal Reserve in San Francisco today. I saw this posted on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter if you don't. I'm posting news on there all the time, stuff I don't even post on here sometimes. And they were putting out a ad in San Francisco for the Fed for a coder, all right, whatever, a engineer, coding engineer to code the digital currency for the United States. This was a Federal Reserve position at the San Francisco Federal Reserve for a coding engineer, okay? And they were saying specifically it's to code a digital currency for the United States. So this is already happening, and this is part of the Black Swan. They want to reset all of the systems so they can put their new system on top of it. It's like I was talking about yesterday with Walmart. They're already implementing these beast systems, these tracking systems, facial tracking, biometric tracking, all this stuff. It's already on top of us, and they just need a big event to really flip the switch, just like we saw the past few years. They already had all this stuff ready, and then they needed something big to flip the switch, and then they can really implement their agenda, okay? So let's get into what's also going on here. Airports are shut down, right? The Oakland Airport is not allowing any passengers to travel, and thousands of people are stranded here right now, and it's just piling up more and more. This is from Matt Ashlock on Twitter. It says, power outage apparently all of Oakland Airport at a standstill. No one getting through security for going on almost an hour now. TSA agents saying this has never happened before, saying no flights are going to leave while it's like this. No timetable for a fix. Think of how vulnerable this is. Right? All systems are down. TSA can't do anything. All right, they don't do much. Honestly, to begin with, just being real here. But all the systems are offline. Think of how vulnerable this airport is right now. These people are just sitting ducks in this airport, and it's one of these things where why is this cyber attack happen on Oakland as well? Like, this is not a coincidence. This is not an accident. This specific substation was targeted to make the airport go out and hit this specific area just a few days after this massive cyber attack took off all their systems. They're trying to hit them in the cyberspace and the physical realm as well with their substations. This also took off the transportation and the trains in the Oakland area. This is coming out of CNN. It says Bay Area Rapid Transit running limited service to Oakland Airport due to a power outage. All right, so it's one of these things. Our grid is completely vulnerable, and a lot of systems go down when the grid goes down. Everything's tied to it. All the commerce is tied to it. All the banking's tied to it. And one thing I'm really worried about is what happens when there's cyber attacks, ransomware attacks on nuclear power plants. We already saw this in Canada. There was a nuclear power plant company had their systems hacked. Thankfully, they weren't able to turn off the reactors. But what happens when there's a massive ransomware attack or cyber attack or substation power outage? What happens when these nuclear plants are taken offline, all right? And there could be some major chemical, biological disaster, all right? They are prepping us, they're dry running us over and over for these disasters. They keep happening, and we need to get prepared, and those could be the big ones, all right? If a nuclear reactor is cyber attacked, ransomware attacked, taken offline, and they are not able to access the systems, and there could be a chemical disaster, biological disaster, okay? There could be an earthquake disaster that hits one of these nuclear power plants. We saw this in Japan already with Fukushima just a few years ago when a massive earthquake, hit Japan, hit the power plants, and also caused massive flooding. So the towns were flooded with radiated water as well. Complete disaster. It was chaotic. They were sending robots into there, and they couldn't even operate. The robots were like breaking down and falling apart. They would only last for a few hours in there. And at one point, they were literally hiring just random people off the streets. They were trying to find desperate people on the streets, like say, hey, can I give you $20 an hour to go do this, to go into these radiated facilities to clean them up? This was in Japan just a few years ago, right? This was in the past decade, modern times. This is what was happening in a modern society, a G7 country, Japan. Like, this could definitely happen in the United States. Look at what's happening in Ohio right now, okay? Look at what's happening. And we're going to see a lot more of this. If you didn't see my video I posted earlier today, there was an explosive device planted on the train tracks in Philadelphia, all right? So something's happening. We need to get prepared for something big. So make sure you are stocked up on food, on supplies, all this stuff, because we are seeing our supply chain and our grid and the supply chains tied to the grid being hit constantly. All right, and we could see a big one. We've seen these balloons recently that can carry EMP devices, wipe out the entire grid at once over North America. There's all of these things that have been happening just recently. It really feels like we're in the quickening, and these things are really starting to just pile on top of each other. So it gets to a point where most people become overwhelmed and they just kind of accept it. They kind of accept this as reality. We just have to live with these dystopian attacks on our system all the time, all right? And we don't. We need to point it out, and we need to figure out why these things are happening, all right? So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like, hit that sub, hit that bell if you want to get notified for the videos. I'm posting 2 to 3 videos every single day. I'm super blessed to have you guys watching, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.